one must possess certain qualities and avoid common pitfalls. Likewise, individuals who will never achieve champion status share similar characteristics. The main reason behind their failure is not the occurrence of mistakes, as everyone makes them, but rather their lack of awareness and continuous repetition of those mistakes. Mistake 1. Placing excessive value on names, strains, and pedigrees is a grave error. This misplaced emphasis has already resulted in numerous disappointments. Mistake 2. Non-champions often take action at the wrong time. They turn to medication either too early or too late. When their pigeons perform poorly, they believe that medicine can help. However, being in poor condition does not necessarily mean they are sick. Administering medication for non-existent diseases weakens the birds. Conversely, taking action when the birds are on the brink of death is too late. Mistake 3. Lack of confidence is a common trait among non-champions. They constantly change their methods, jumping from one approach to another. While there are several effective systems and equally as many flawed ones, the worst mistake is constantly switching between them. Mistake 4. Establishing a strong bond with the pigeons is crucial, particularly in young bird racing. When an unsuccessful fancier enters their loft, the birds yearn to escape as they lack trust in the individual. In contrast, when a champion is among his birds, they feel at ease while still being under his control. The champion assumes the role of a general, and the birds become disciplined soldiers. Champions interact and play with their birds, whereas non-champions play with the birds themselves. Mistake 5. Non-champions seek remedies to cure their birds from diseases. Champions, on the other hand, focus on preventing their birds from falling ill. They pay close attention to the environment, ensuring their loft is clean and well maintained. The drinking water in the champion's loft is consistently clear, while non-champions often provide colored water. Non-champions display excessive sympathy towards unhealthy birds, whereas champions promptly eliminate such individuals. They possess a firm yet gentle touch. Mistake 6. Overfeeding, particularly with excessive protein intake such as an abundance of peas, is a significant error in young bird racing. Peas are suitable for nestlings that require nourishment for growth. However, for young racing pigeons, peas can be detrimental. Mistake 7. Many non-champions are naive when it comes to breeding. They fail to recognize the importance of good fortune in this process. Merely pairing a superb male with an equally impressive hen or its sister does not guarantee the automatic production of outstanding offspring. It is a more complex and nuanced process. Mistake 8. Non-champions often fall victim to the influence of press and the propaganda propagated by illusionary brokers. In contrast, champions maintain a realistic perspective. Mistake 9. The stock loft of non-champions often contains breeders that have been present for several years but have never produced quality birds. It raises questions about the purpose of keeping such birds. Mistake 10. A misconception among some is that bigger pigeons are stronger pigeons. However, modern racing pigeons are actually becoming smaller. It is often the smaller pigeons that possess the endurance to withstand harsh weather conditions and cover greater distances. To consistently achieve success in competitive pigeon racing, there are 4 essential factors to consider. Firstly, it is crucial to fill your pigeon loft with the finest birds available. These birds must be in excellent physical condition and motivated to perform well. Moreover, they should possess a strong desire to return home swiftly. However, the most vital aspect of all is their health. Regardless of the amount spent on acquiring top-quality pigeons, extensive training, or utilizing various racing methods, the absence of good health will result in defeat. Poor health acts as the great equalizer in pigeon racing. So, what exactly do we mean by healthy pigeons if we assert that they are the ones winning races? Merely looking good, behaving well, flying actively within the loft, having white wattles, clear eyes, and normal droppings does not guarantee a bird's health and victory in significant competitions. Birds can fit this description but still lack the necessary health to triumph. Pigeons possess an innate instinct to appear healthy, even when they are not. Just like in the wild, sick birds try to maintain the facade of good health, but over time, their weight diminishes. Pigeons can harbor various organisms like coccidia, worms, trichomonas, canker, bacterial pathogens, and more, all while outwardly appearing perfectly healthy. It is critical to understand that there are 3 levels of pigeon health. Poor health is characterized by obvious sickness and a lack of vitality, resulting in poor performance. This level is generally avoided by most pigeon fanciers. Apparent health refers to birds that appear healthy but are infected with various organisms that hinder their performance. The majority of pigeon fanciers keep their birds in this condition. On the other hand, Super health is the ultimate goal for those who consistently achieve success in pigeon racing. Lofts that reach this level maintain their birds in optimal health year after year, yielding exceptional results. Stress is the primary factor that compromises health and subsequently reduces performance. Training, breeding, racing, molting, diseases, parasites, and other husbandry issues induce stress in birds. Thus, our aim should be to minimize stress and attain super health for our pigeons. To reduce stress on our birds, we must focus on 4 specific areas, starting with pigeon loft hygiene. Unfortunately, this crucial aspect is often overlooked. By making minor modifications to the pigeon lofts, many individuals can significantly improve their birds' performance. Proper ventilation is of utmost importance. Pigeons have extensive air sacs connected to their lungs, even extending into their bones. Therefore, the quality of the air they breathe greatly impacts their overall well-being. A dusty and ammonia-filled loft due to wet droppings can lead to a decrease in performance. It is ideal for air to enter from the floor and exit from the top, striking a balance without causing drafts. Avoiding overcrowding in the loft can help regulate temperature, further aiding ventilation. Another crucial area is the management of droppings. It is essential to clean the loft daily. Pigeons with coccidiosis or worms pass these organisms through their droppings. However, the organisms are not immediately infective. They require approximately 48 hours to become reinfectious if ingested by another pigeon. By implementing daily cleaning practices, reinfection rates can be significantly reduced for coccidiosis, worms, and bacterial diseases like E. coli and Candida. Moisture poses a significant threat to pigeon health. It enhances the viability of parasites and viruses, leading to adverse effects. Preventing rainwater from entering the loft and ensuring there are no leaks are crucial steps. Care must also be taken with wire floors that are open to the ground, as they can introduce excessive dampness, which is detrimental to bird health. Installing a wooden subfloor beneath the wire can mitigate this issue. The use of compressed wood pellets, designed as fuel for wood stoves, serves as excellent floor litter due to its exceptional moisture-absorbing properties, keeping the loft dry. Maintaining cleanliness in food and water is vital. Birds can easily contract disease-causing organisms through contaminated food and water. Thoroughly clean and sterilize water bowls with bleach, GEEK, at least once a week. Additionally, rodent control is essential as mice carry paratyphoid, a disease caused by salmonella. Preventing rodents from entering the pigeon loft is crucial to safeguarding the bird's health. Temperature control is another critical factor. Rapid temperature fluctuations induce stress and can be fatal to birds. During the racing season, it is vital to close the pigeon loft at night and on cold days to maintain optimal performance. Providing some form of heat support is highly beneficial in achieving and sustaining super health necessary for winning significant competitions. Insect control is imperative as certain types of worms are transmitted through insects. Minimizing the bird's exposure to insects by limiting their access to open loft areas where insects are abundant is recommended. Overcrowding should be avoided. Surprisingly, many individuals have experienced their best young bird seasons following a significant reduction in their team due to a training accident or similar event. Fewer birds translate to lower disease incidence, easier management, and reduced costs. Remember, quality matters more than quantity. Lastly, quarantine procedures are vital when introducing new pigeons. Many birds can carry harmful pathogens without showing any symptoms. Before integrating new pigeons into the general population, they should be treated for worms, canker, coccidiosis, and undergo a 10-day course of doxycycline or salmonella treatment. Ensuring the health of your pigeons should be your top priority to achieve outstanding results. Acquiring high-quality birds for your loft is an essential aspect of the sport. By introducing new...
Keep meticulous records at all times. When you don't have records, it's impossible to regularly improve your loft, birds, or results. A bird should leave a paper trail from the moment it enters your loft. Everything that a bird accomplishes, including training, breeding, racing, health, and outcomes, should be documented. Health. 75% of the equation is good health. Racing pigeons, like any other athlete, require optimum health in order to compete at their best. It's pointless to buy top-notch birds if you don't keep them in top shape. A world-class pigeon that is unwell and unhealthy falls into the same category as a losing pigeon. As a result, make health a priority. The basket never lies. The basket is always telling the whole truth. This goes hand in hand with number 1. You may have your favorites in your loft or birds that look wonderful, but the end outcomes speak louder than words. Your best birds will always be identified in training tosses and racing. This is why it is critical to maintain accurate records. Quality is more important than quantity. Simply put, a few good pigeons are preferable than a large number of poor ones. Not to mention that they are simpler and less expensive to maintain. Use the fundamentals and your records to help you identify your best and most consistent birds and use them as the foundation of your loft. Good pigeons to start up with. Start with a good foundation. Begin by assembling a group of 2 to 4 pairs of high-quality breeders. The basket, records, and results are always the best methods for selecting birds. Never take someone's word for it. Instead, use real data to make informed decisions. All pigeons must earn their perch old birds in stock or the race team the full year. Successful flying takes a 365-day commitment. This is self-explanatory, but just because the race season is finished doesn't mean you should stop caring for your birds. In fact, this is the best moment to conduct a thorough audit and reformulate your loft and birds based on previous year's results. Devise a strategy and sow the seeds for the following season. Make a plan. Make a plan. In the long run, strategy will always win out over luck. Therefore, if you plan on relying on luck or chance to win races, you're definitely better off saving your money and getting a strategy. A new pastime. Treat pigeon racing as a legitimate sport, your pigeons as legitimate athletes, and yourself as a legitimate coach. Are you stumped as to where to begin? First and foremost, your plan should always begin with these 10 commandments. Fine-tune your loft with your records and race with just your best and proven birds and build from there. And if you're still unsure where to begin, this tried and true system can help you get started. Love of the loft. Infuse in your birds a love of the loft mentality. Spend quality time with your birds and your record will improve. Give your birds regular, calm, and caring care to earn their trust. This ought to motivate them. Satisfied and unconcerned. This tender treatment will feed their natural desire to return home, and it will help them speed up or urge them to achieve their best results on race day. The loft matters. It's all about the loft. Many fanciers undervalue the impact of their loft on their results. The loft is where it all begins and where all of your efforts are focused. Maintain it as a genuine champion by keeping it clean, dry, orderly, and pleasant for your racing pigeons. The most difficult fact to accept is that there is no single secret to success. No matter how much you study eye sign, wing theory, body type, genetics, etc. Any one of these factors in isolation will not guarantee you success. If it did, the sport of pigeon racing would be simple. One would simply buy or breed pigeons with one of the attributes that guarantee success, and our sport would lose its major attraction, the complex mystery of how do you buy, breed, and train pigeons to win. I have written a few pointers below that are my opinion that are major contributors to success, and look forward to the reader's reaction. Final tip. Come up with your own equation. You must be aware of the unique circumstances that make up your loft and design a specialized strategy for dealing with them. It's an individual trip to the top of the race once more. Sheets, so knowing your individual needs, your schedule, your birds, the races you'll be participating, the system you'll be using, and everything in between is critical to your success in this activity. A good fancier realizes that pigeon keeping is 365 days a year commitment. They obviously need quality food, clean water, and cleaning out every day to maintain high hygiene levels. In addition, you need some quality time with your pigeons, simply observing them and getting them acquainted and unafraid of you so they have confidence in you and a love for their loft and home. It is important to keep an eye on their health. Sick pigeons do not win races. It is better to have a preventative medicine regime planned so it has the minimum impact during breeding and racing. If we are observing the hints above, we have good pigeons, well fed and fit. To get that little bit extra, we need to motivate them. Spending time observing your pigeons will provide with that little bit of insight into each individual pigeon, so you will know when they are at their best and what will motivate them best to fly home quickly. The other overlooked attribute of a good fancier is an excellent memory or good record keeping. I go for the latter. I take a notebook with me every time I visit the loft and write down observations and ideas mostly about the pigeons, but it could be about the loft, training, diet, etc. I also suggest that one has a plan or objective written down that you refer to. Ensure that the actions you take are all positive steps on the road to meeting your planned objectives. As mentioned earlier, you need to keep good or excellent pigeons, and we measure them by training or racing performance. Stock pigeons the ability to breed winning racers. The keeping of records enables you to objectively assess each pigeon at the end of the season. To compare performances is not easy or always objective. I therefore give pigeon performance points on a sliding scale. 1. Only have good pigeons. 2. The pigeons must be measured by performance. 3. Provide a home loft which is dry and healthy with plenty of space. 4. Provide your birds with quality food and clean water. 5. Master the skill of feeding your pigeons to get them at the optimum weight and full of energy for each race day. 6. Have a training system that builds a pigeon's strength and speed, and then allows them to peak free of stress and full of energy on race day. 7. Have a preventative medicine regime that has the minimum impact on you. Racing program. 8. Spend quality time with your pigeons. Get to know them. Observe what motivates them to get that extra winning 1%. 9. Keep records about your pigeons' habits and performances. Ideas for improving, mistakes you have made, plans for the future, ways to improve, etc. 10. Be selective using performance as the yardstick fitness tips for racing pigeons. To properly understand fitness indicators in racing pigeons, we need to identify the actual demands of the specific race event we intend to enter. We also need to realize that there are different degrees of fitness and that the fitness curve can be manipulated. Fitness can also be ruined before a race by ill-considered changes in the road training program and/or omissions in the bird's diet. General fitness is achieved through regular exercise. If, say, a training program consists only of daily home training of less than 60 minutes and isn't supplemented with perhaps 2 road training flights a week, then don't expect your pigeons to be ready for race competition. But general fitness is only the foundation. Generally, fit pigeons that aren't prepared for strenuous competition will lack the strength to score because they can't keep up with the leaders. In other words, in addition to general fitness, we need race condition and peak form. Race fitness. Racing pigeons need to be exposed to strenuous exercise from time to time to advance their general fitness to top form. This also helps improve the bird's mental readiness. You need to determine the average time the pigeons are expected to spend on the wing by analyzing the distance to be flown and the expected weather conditions of the race event. The training program must then be formulated to meet these demands.
Advice of keeping only a few high-quality racing pigeons holds profound wisdom for pigeon enthusiasts aiming to excel in this captivating sport. While it might initially seem counterintuitive, shouldn't a larger flock increase the odds of discovering racing champions? A closer look reveals the merits of prioritizing quality over quantity. Concentrating your efforts on nurturing a select few elite pigeons yields several benefits. Foremost, maintaining a smaller flock enables superior health management. Racing pigeons require meticulous care, from proper nutrition and vaccination schedules to regular checkups and timely treatment of injuries or illness. This level of attention becomes challenging with a large flock. By having fewer birds, you can closely monitor each one, understand their unique personalities, and detect potential issues before they become major problems. Proactive health management maintains vitality, prevents contagious outbreaks, and sustains peak athletic performance. Additionally, a small, select flock allows for more focused training. Preparing pigeons for races involves developing their navigation skills, stamina, and speed. This requires patience, consistency, and an intimate understanding of each bird's abilities. With fewer pigeons to work with, you can tailor training approaches to match each bird's temperament. Some may respond better to group training, while others benefit from more individualized preparation. Having the time to discover the methods that build trust and motivation for each bird is crucial. Training a team of champions demands personalized attention, which is challenging to achieve with a large flock. Maintaining a modest-sized loft is also a wise financial decision. Pigeon racing demands significant investment, including acquisition costs, housing, feed, supplies, veterinary care, and race-related expenses. However, spreading limited resources too thinly can hinder your success. Concentrating your investments on a small team of top-tier pigeons ensures that every dollar goes toward enhancing quality rather than quantity. Furthermore, a smaller flock opens doors to strategic breeding programs. With the time and space to handpick breeding pairs carefully, you can thoughtfully cultivate desirable racing traits in subsequent generations. By paying close attention to the performance metrics of your best racers, such as speed, stamina, and homing ability, you can select pairings that promise to pass these genetics on to offspring. While pedigree is not a guarantee, combining the DNA of your strongest pigeons can increase the likelihood of cultivating future champions. Meticulous breeding is challenging with a large, random flock, but selecting pairings from a small pool of elite birds allows you to focus on specific traits you aim to propagate. The merits of the keep only a few philosophy are evident. But a valid question arises: how can you acquire top-tier birds worth investing in? Proper research and networking can help you obtain outstanding pigeons. Here are some proven strategies. Consult respected pigeon racing publications to learn about leading bird breeds, their origins, temperaments, and racing aptitudes. This will provide you with an informed foundation for your search. Attend pigeon auctions and races to observe and interact with the racing community. Auctions present opportunities to bid on prized pigeons, and post-race visits allow you to see champions firsthand. Get involved with pigeon clubs to connect with seasoned veterans who generously share advice and mentorship. Club events provide further access to elite birds and valuable camaraderie. Develop relationships with renowned breeders who have a proven track record of raising winners. Building trust can lead to acquisition opportunities. Leverage social media platforms to connect with pigeon enthusiasts worldwide and exchange insights. Be patient and keep observing, as identifying outstanding pigeons requires diligent observation over time. Regularly visit races and auctions before making acquisition decisions. Never compromise on quality. Consider genetics but look beyond pedigree. While a distinguished lineage indicates good breeding, pedigree alone provides limited insight. First-hand observation of birds in action is more telling. Test promising pigeons' performance yourself. Obtaining birds with race wins under their wing is ideal, but even then, slowly test their abilities with increasingly long training flights to allow their talents to shine through. By following these strategies, you can gradually build relationships and gain access to the elite top tier of racing pigeons worth investing in. While it takes time and diligence, the rewards are incredibly satisfying. And this brings us back to the core principle: once you acquire outstanding pigeons, the keep only a few philosophy allows you to maximize the potential of your select flock. With fewer birds to care for, you can provide exemplary health management, intensive customized training, more focused breeding programs, and spend time perfecting every aspect of your approach. Quality triumphs over quantity. Reducing flock size is not about arbitrarily limiting numbers but about efficiently mastering the level of care these magnificent birds deserve. Pigeon racing is not solely about wins and losses, it's a pursuit built on the profound bond between humans and birds. Each pigeon's loyalty and determination inspire awe. By keeping a modest-sized loft of champions, you become intimately invested in every bird's well-being and success. Your stewardship allows their talents to shine brightly. In this sense, less is more. A few healthy, robust, highly trained pigeons will outperform a crowded coop every time. As your elite birds return flight after flight, you revel in their dedication. And after a hard-won race, when your champion pigeon navigates home despite all odds, her triumph becomes yours as well. In these moments, the spirit of this hobby comes alive. So, for any newcomer, remember, seek quality over quantity. Bond closely with a select team of thoroughbreds, Train them with patience and care deeply for them as living partners. Approach the endeavor with wisdom, compassion, and commitment. Then you and your feathery co-pilots will share the rich rewards of this time-honored pastime, the soaring highs, the empathy forged, and a rare kind of interspecies connection. At its heart, pigeon racing reveals as much about human nature as it does about the birds. And investing yourself in the right few exemplary pigeons makes all the difference. Like avian athletes, are meticulously prepared for their weekly flights. Depending on the race distance, we adjust their feed accordingly. For short sprints, we provide a lighter diet, while for middle distances, a bit more is given. As for long races, peanuts are usually included to provide the birds with additional energy. However, the question remains, are we meeting their nutritional needs adequately? Our feeding practices often rely on intuition and personal experience, but doubts linger. What if the wind changes unexpectedly? Today, we seek more information and ask whether any research has been conducted on the energy requirements of pigeons during flight. What role do proteins, carbohydrates, sugars, and fats play in their diet? Researchers worldwide have begun conducting fascinating tests on pigeons fitted with transmitters on their backs. These transmitters, along with satellite technology, enable us to track the birds' flight paths and gather valuable data. Although this field is still in its early stages, we eagerly anticipate the insights it will provide. At present, the transmitters are still too heavy to provide realistic and reliable information, so we must rely on our existing knowledge. Nevertheless, science has made progress. In wind tunnels at the University of Ghent in Belgium, pigeons were tested while flying against the wind, unable to advance even a meter. By fitting them with a mask to collect their exhaled breath, researchers could precisely analyze the fuel they utilized. These experiments yielded interesting results. During the first 10 minutes of flight, pigeons primarily rely on their carbohydrate reserves, stored in the white muscle, to gain altitude and speed. Once these carbohydrates are depleted, the birds switch to using fat stored in their bodies, specifically in the red muscle fibers, for the next approximately 50 minutes. These blood fats consist of roughly 97.5% unsaturated fatty acids and serve as the fuel for the journey back home. The light blood fats in their bodies are derived from the carbohydrate and fat-rich grains consumed during the last 3 meals. If this fuel is exhausted after 1 hour, the birds gradually shift to utilizing the fat reserves stored in their red muscle fibers. During flight, a pigeon consumes approximately 3 to 3.5 grams of fat per hour, but the exact amount varies based on the flight's difficulty and the efficiency of the pigeon's own system. Some pigeons have heavy, robust muscles like bodybuilders, while others have long, slender muscles like marathon runners. The former utilize energy more efficiently. With this newfound knowledge of a pigeon's energy expenditure per hour, can we calculate their specific fat requirements based on the fat content of their feed? Let's consider an example. Suppose we are preparing our pigeons for the Orleans race, which typically takes 6 hours of flying. As previously mentioned, pigeons rely on carbohydrates as their fuel during the first hour of flight, followed by the utilization of fat reserves in the red muscle fibers for the remaining 5 hours. Let's assume an average fat consumption of 3.0 grams per hour. Therefore, the birds would require 5 hours times 3.0 grams equals 15 grams of fat stored in their red muscle fibers. By knowing the fat content of our feed, we can determine if it provides sufficient energy. For instance, if our feed contains 5% fat and we typically provide 200 grams of feed per bird per week, we would only be supplying 10 grams of fat reserves, which is insufficient for this race. On the other hand, a feed with 9% fat, equivalent to 18 grams of fat, would be There are many reasons to buy my racing pigeon method. Here are some of the best reasons. You will get excellent results. It's a very simple system to use, it's affordable, I have had over 400 first prize winners, it's adaptable to any situation. You can use it with any racing method, natural, widowhood, young birds, it's a very effective method. There is no need to spend a lot of money on fancy pigeon products, it's a reliable system and it is foolproof to use. Professional athletes, race horses, take the same products, there is science behind this, not just hearsay, it is all to do with red blood cells and oxygen in the blood. Without that, a pigeon will not race well, or an athlete will not win a race, if he has low oxygen in his blood. The above is fact and is 100% science. There are a few things you can do to improve your chances of winning at racing pigeons. One of the most important things is to learn as much as you can about the sport. You'll need to know the different types of pigeons, how to train them, and how to race them. Another key factor is practice. You'll need to be able to fly your pigeons competently in order to win races. And, of course, you'll need to have the funds to invest in racing pigeons and other racing equipment.